Hi, this is Classic Motors. Your presentators today are Matthew, Drayton, Connor, Miles, and Zach. Now, without further ado, let me pass this on to Connor to talk to you about our feasibility of the business model.
All right, so I would like to first discuss the technical feasibility of our business model. We will utilize one researcher to find leads on classic vehicles, make deals with the original owners, and transport the new vehicles back to Bozeman. Two in-house salesmen to make sales at the showroom as well as online, 3 full-time technicians to maintain the service shop, and 1 shop manager to oversee all day-to-day operations and manage the company's financials. Additionally, our facilities will consist of a showroom for showcasing our inventory, a maintenance and repair facility for maintaining and repairing customer cars, and a storage space for cars that are not yet showroom ready. Our competition will lie in new car dealerships, which are often overpriced and high pressure by their very nature, private sellers, which are often not trustworthy and do not offer any sort of warranty for the buyer, and used car dealerships, which seldom involve themselves with high-quality classic vehicles. Our path to profitability is paved by sales. More sales will lead to more customer-owned cars for our technicians to maintain, as well as more word-of-mouth advertising to further drive car sales. The ability of our team to execute on this project and achieve the success that we all know this business is capable of is unmatched by any other entrepreneurial venture in town. We are a group of fun-loving automotive enthusiasts who want nothing more than to see classic cars lining the streets of Bozeman on every morning commute. Our automotive expertise is immense, with our founding member buying and selling over 25 classic automobiles in his free time alone over the last 5 years. In order to achieve the success that we're capable of, there are several resources that we must be able to invest in. We need 3 to 5 acres of commercially zoned land in the heart of Bozeman. Upon that land, we will build an 18,000 square foot showroom and a 10,000 square foot maintenance and repair facility filled with all the necessary tools and equipment to maintain and repair classic cars from all around the world. We will additionally need a transport truck and trailer to carry non-running or poor condition projects from their place of purchase to the shop. Now, you may ask yourself, why would someone choose Classic Motors over a traditional car dealership? First off, our customers will be reinvesting back into the local economy instead of shipping their money across borders or even overseas when shopping for a new car. Additionally, when you buy a new car straight from the dealership, it loses up to 60% of its value in the first 5 years of ownership. Your best bet is to buy a car that has already reached the bottom of its depreciation curve. With our cars, the value will remain the same or may even increase as time goes by. Lastly, the average American spends just under an hour in their car each day. Why would you not want to enjoy that time in a car that you'll love for years to come? You may also ask yourself, why should I, the investor, choose Classic Motors over the next investment opportunity? We will take your paid-in capital and reinvest it into the local economy, with most projects being sourced from Montana and all projects being completed by a Bozeman-based team. Next, by purchasing land and buildings and filling our inventory with cars that will not depreciate further, we will effectively spend all invested money on long-term assets rather than liabilities, making this an inherently low-risk venture. Finally, by investing in our venture, you are investing in the most passionate and goal-driven team of innovators in the entire town of Bozeman.
Now looking at our customer segment and who we cater to. This is made up by classical car enthusiasts, people who enjoy collector cars, and the oddballs. Everyone has their own taste when it comes to cars and trucks, and we hope to satisfy them all. Something that may seem lame to you and I may have been someone else's family car growing up, and it holds a special place in their heart. Many of these customers have previously struggled to find a clean example of the vehicle that they want, or may not have found any at all. Our always networking procurement staff has had years of experience seeking out peculiar and hard-to-find vehicles, and we hope to stock our showroom with head-turners. Our customers have also likely experienced the stress and anxiety that comes with driving and maintaining a classic vehicle. The Classic Motors facility will take care of any mechanical issues before the car is sold, as well as keep up with maintenance throughout the life of the vehicle.
Our value proposition is broken into the tangible and intangible value of buying a car from Classic Motors. The tangible value proposition is that you buy a reliable older car for a reasonable price. We are also striving to have our shop costs be realistic and honest, similar to the service and trust you can expect from the mechanics at Bozeman Community Auto. When you as a customer know that you can trust the people you are buying or fixing your car from, you can make a more informed decision. The intangible value proposition is an extension of the attitude aforementioned. We want to break the barriers of other car dealership models and provide a consistent level of service without the pushiness normally associated. As car people, we care more about creating and sustaining a community of people that also want to take care of their vehicles. Cars are not typically what people think about when they think about environmentally friendly, but we believe that keeping cars that have already been produced on the road is one of the best ways to limit the impact the auto industry has, because so much of the pollution and metal sourcing comes from the assembling of new vehicles.
Here at Classic Motors, we have identified a few channels that would be used to find, cultivate, and keep our customers while building relationships. For social media, we would have a Facebook, which would include the use of a company page and also give us access to Facebook Marketplace. We would also have an Instagram where we'd post pictures or videos of the projects that we were working on to build our customer base and spark interest in our company. And lastly, social media would have a YouTube channel that will allow us to effortlessly transpose our videos onto these social media websites. In later years, we would want to expand this YouTube to create a truly reputable and memorable channel if we can gain enough attention. For broadcast channels, we would aim to get a few radio advertisements to rotate through a year. This would help us gain traction and increase awareness about our company. Furthermore, when the opportunity arises, we would go to the local news, paper or televised, and try to supply them with news briefings that may be of interest. For our digital side, which I'm briefly categorizing as everything we do beyond our social media efforts, we will be posting build blogs to forums around the country, which will have links to our current website and or our vehicles. Furthermore, the website won't have to be anything too fancy, but will allow customers to get quotes, communicate with us, and purchase vehicles. We also want to implement a few non-traditional channels, which these could include vehicle wraps on our company vehicle and truck, and creative guerrilla marketing tactics when we see fit. I put an example of a guerrilla marketing tactic that we could do.
There are several revenue streams for Classic Motors. The easiest one to assess and track is the profit margin in the buying and reselling of classic cars. Since we have a maintenance shop built into our business, we are creating revenue and saving money on repairing these cars within the business. We are paying our mechanics to fix the cars we sell, providing them with consistent work while not eating at our profit margins as heavily for when we actually sell the refurbished car to the consumer. Our second revenue stream is what we have determined to be the most lucrative, the shop itself. By allowing people from the community to bring in their beloved older car, we are not limiting our revenue to sales. By having a community shop that is also a lot with other vehicles for purchase, we have increased our exposure to the first stream as well. Our third revenue stream would be the services we provide for car enthusiasts to fix their own classic cars. We can source and order parts that other consumers were not able to find easily at existing auto repair shops around town. We would charge various fees and dependent upon price and freight for parts. With extensive rebuilds, the fees would add up throughout the year and be a legitimate contribution to our revenues. The least significant revenue stream would be from merchandise sales in the shop.
As far as partnerships and resources, Classic Motors knows their limitations on what can be done in-house. There are multiple highly skilled shops around Bozeman who specialize in paint and bodywork as well as upholstery. These tasks are tedious, frustrating, and need to be done right. Dark Horse Customs is a shop in Four Corners who frequently turns out show-quality vehicles. We will use them to restore rusty sheet metal on vehicles and prepare for paint and bodywork. McGinley Motorsports, another local custom shop, offers high-quality paint jobs and bodywork. They are true professionals and will leave the vehicles that we bring them looking better than they did when new. Mike's Trim and Upholstery, also located in Bozeman, can make the inside look just as good as the outside. Special requests such as seat heaters or a 3-point seatbelt can be accommodated. When it comes to purchasing the vehicles, it will be helpful to know an employee or someone local to the major salvage yards around Montana and the bordering states. Many classic and collectible cars are assumed to be of no value and are left for scrap. Overall, creating a positive impression through networking will be key for Classic Motors' success.
Moving on to our business model, cost structure. We've chosen a value-driven cost structure because we're seeking to create value for those interested in the nostalgia that generally surrounds classic vehicles. We're looking to return both old and young to a time where maybe there's a little bit more ingenuity sometimes and a little bit more American-made metal in their vehicles. Our fixed costs are going to end up being the location of the dealership and salaries and wages for executives and other sales personnel. Variable costs end up being sales commissions for sales personnel, advertising and marketing, which can generally be a little bit cheaper if we use Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. And then our inventory, which includes sourcing vehicles and repairing vehicles that may not be in the shape that we need for our dealership to be successful and for people to be able to drive off the lot with a vehicle that feels a little bit more new than something you might otherwise build as a project car for yourself. Startup costs include initial inventory, location renovations, so being able to put our name on the walls, and brand development, including creating our logos, marketing materials, etc., website development, and there's plenty more where these came from, but these are some of the big ones that we decided to cover for Classic Motors specifically.
While we hate to admit it, Classic Motors is still vulnerable to multiple variables. Keeping a constant supply of vehicles will be an ongoing struggle. Montana and its surrounding states have a plentiful selection of interesting older vehicles, but many of them are beyond repair. The purchasing staff will need to continue to reach further and further away from the state in order to find vehicles worthy to sell. Next on the list is that Bozeman is in constant need of skilled workers. We expect for this to be a lasting battle, but once the company has onboarded someone, we hope that their passion for the work that they're doing, as well as competitive pay and benefits, will keep them on the team. Along with Bozeman's growth is a lack of affordable showroom space in high-traffic areas. We expect for both the showroom and shop to take up a lot of ground, and finding such a large area in Bozeman's city limits may be difficult. We will consider locating out of town either in Belgrade or Four Corners. Finally, we will have to deal with vehicles bought without a title. There's a lot of discrepancy regarding how that works, and we think that it would be best to form a relationship with, or at least be friendly, to the kind folks who work at the Gallatin County Motor Vehicle Division.
Moving on to our ideation and the evolution of the idea for Classic Motors, we have always kind of had the idea that we're going to be driven by creating value surrounding classic cars, and that includes, getting ourselves known in the community, being able to go to car shows with our vehicles, and actually being enthusiasts ourselves rather than just looking to create a quick buck. We actually care about what we're selling, and we care about our customers being able to get what they want out of our business. The initial idea was complemented when we expanded to being able to service vehicles that people bring in. So if someone has a specific classic car they're looking to work on, we can actually kind of get them up and running and get their vehicle into the shape that it would be as if they drove off of our lot. We also end up being able to actually allow people to test drive classic cars on our lot. So it's not every day that you get to go test out a classic vehicle and drive it around town and actually get a feel for if you'd like it at all to begin with. It's a lot different than looking on the internet and saying, hey, that's a cool looking car, or something along those lines. And then the reason we do what we do is to inspire both older and younger generations, quite honestly, to rock a unique vehicle, and really to bring out the nostalgia of doing so. Rather than just going in and buying a new car, you could end up with something unique, probably get compliments on it, and we're hoping we can turn some people into car enthusiasts, and specifically classic car enthusiasts, and further hone present classic car enthusiasts to further move with their hobby and to really get the most out of it.
Our idea from a business perspective did not change that much, but rather grew and became a larger idea. We started out as a place where people could buy classic cars, a place most suited for people that were already classic car enthusiasts. It grew into the idea that we have presented today, where our dealership has the ability to convince consumers to buy older cars, enveloping all cars before a certain time to be considered classic, and we can keep them maintained for them. You may not have been a car person before, but after visiting Classic Motors, you will be. By shifting to include maintenance work, we also expanded our revenue-making ability beyond just resale profit to include labor charges, making the model more feasible and sustainable. The work that we put into our project, however, had definitely shifted throughout our transition to online class. Our team managed the transition well, and we have been communicating effectively and delegating the tasks fairly and efficiently.
And now to wrap up this presentation, I'll be going through our now versus then slide. This slide kind of goes over the feasibility at the end of the project versus what we originally thought it would have been like. So overall, when I go through this, I'm asking my question: what do we think would be the make or the break moment for this project, and if we were to take this and make it go live? Now, overall, I came down to a couple in the deterring factors of this project. These include our additional expenses, being kind of startup expenses. So your land, your startup costs, your rent, your purchasing equipment, purchasing tools, and finding the first couple vehicles to start with. Second would be like actually having the motivation or the grit. As this is quite of a comprehensive project and it's quite literally ready to get brought into action at where it's at now. I'd say we got very far along with it. However, maybe we could have picked something simpler and got it going while we're still, going through our phases in college. Some of the other is one of the big deterring factors would be like the team dynamic versus having it be a sole proprietorship. As if we were doing this project, we could technically be starting a company while we're completing the project. And I don't think we're quite going to do that just with the team dynamic. And lastly, it would be fairly difficult to hire like-minded mechanics that fit the standards of what we want and what we need to have this company ran successfully. So overall, if it boils down to a question being, if we started over again right now, would we choose the same business? And overall, I'd have to go with probably not, just because of the complexity of what it is and really trying to keep it from being a traditional used car dealership. Overall, though, I do believe that there is potential for some of our group mates to be taking this project and applying it to their real life and, being successful. So with this, I'd like to just move over to the references real quick. As you can see, we got some there, quite a bit. And I hope you stay safe and have a good summer.